Hi, everybody. Today we'll be discussing about combined stress, specifically normal stresses that caused by axial force combined with the normal stresses caused by bending moment. This lecture is a part of a thought course of mechanics of materials for international program in civil engineering at King Mongkut University of Technology, Thonburi. Thank you for being here with us. Before we move on to application, let's look at the mathematical side of things first. If we have a cross-section that is subjected to axial force and the bending moment at the same time, as usually the case, then we can actually look at the effect on separately using the superposition concept, which said that you could separate the effect and then combine it back later. In this case, since we already know how to calculate the normal stress for the axial force and the normal stress for the bending moment, we then separate the calculation out as follow, and then once we need the result in the end, then we just combine them back. So that is normal total idea of the superposition concept we are using here. The first example we look at today is something that we call off-centroid loading. Generally, it's applied more to column than to beams. Here's the idea, right? If in general we have the column and we press it exactly onto the position of the centroid, it will just shrink, right? It's a kind of like normal axial behavior, right? Shrink or expand. However, if we actually happen to press it, this time, the first time I press it right in the middle, on the centroid. Now, if I shift it a little bit this way, the first example we look at today is something that we call off-centroid loading. Generally, it's applied more to column than to beams. Here's the idea, right? If in general we have the column and we press it exactly onto the position of the centroid, it will just shrink, right? It's a kind of like normal axial behavior, right? Shrink or expand. However, if we actually happen to press it, this time, the first time I press it right in the middle, on the centroid. Now, if I shift it a little bit this way, if we look at the free body diagram, at any particular length, I'm not indicating length here. And in fact, this one here doesn't affect our calculation either, because the bending moment doesn't caused by the distance in the acceleration, as we're going to see in the picture here, right? Pinpoint there, you see the axial force N on the left-hand side, which we don't know the value yet. That one, because of the nature of this distributed equally over the area, therefore the axial force will always at the centroid of the area itself. In this case, is at the middle line. However, as we said that this point load here is pressing off the centroid, in this case lower than the center line or the centroid, that gap there, 5 centimeters, create the couple of force that actually create the moment. And to resist that moment, the material has to produce the bending moment effect to resist the rotation of that couple of force gap. In this case, we can use sigma fx and then sigma moment over point O. Notice that this moment here is about z-axis, right? So here we are, we get the number there. Once we get these two external internal forces, then we look at the equation a little bit. Then we realize that we need still the cross-sectional area and the value of area moment of inertia, I. Right. So let's look at the cross-sectional area. Why? In this case, y is simple because of in the midway. So on the top 20 and the bottom 20. Right. The total area then can be calculated, and simply the I, which is going again, this I here has to be going about the neutral axis, and the neutral axis is always on the centroid in the same line as the axis of bending moment, in this case z-axis here. Right. Then we substitute for the axial force, we get the stress in compression equally. Right? However, for the sigma moment, in this case, because of symmetry, then we can say that it's still the same number. on the top and the bottom. However, this one here, we have top is tension and bottom in compression, because by the way we press it, and we see the picture earlier, it is a sideways bending. Then when we combine them, this tension and compression has a meaning, right? If it's compression and compression, then they combine. If it's compression and tension, they subtract, right? So for the first one on the top, then the tension become a negative value because I assign compression positive, right? And then we have some negative commissive left, right? However, at the bottom, they both are compression, so they combine the effect and become a bigger compression, right? And now we get the answer the question's looking for. So let's put the answers there. Next example is just a beam. The axial force creating because of the inclination of the roller support, right? Then there's some pressing into the axial force, and we need to combine the stress together as usual. In this case, the question specifically asks for stresses at the point B, 1.5 meters away from point A, which is the pin support, and specific number 2 and number 1 and 2 on the cross-section area as shown on the right-hand side. Let's start from the forces side of things. Free body diagram, 3 unknown, 3 equations, right? Sort out quite easily. Then we look at point B, right? Again, 3 unknowns, still 3 equations. I don't need shear VB, so I can calculate it, but I don't have to. In this case, I'm not doing it, right? So I calculate the bending moment and the axial force for the calculation. And of course, the equation suggests that we need the area, the I, and the Y, right? So here the cross-sectional area. The cross-sectional area can be calculated quite easily. Just the big rectangle minus subtract the whole. So there we are. And also the area moment of the shear will be considered the same way, right? And because of the position of 1 and position of 2 has to be measured from the neutral axis as usual. So y1 and y2 are as follows, 5 and 20. Notice that this bending moment is smiling though. So the bending moment will happen compression on the top, above neutral axis, and below neutral axis will be tension. However, the axial force, however, is all compression, right? Divided by the area, we get a number. Then we can calculate at point 1, right, which is also compression. So when we calculate at point 1, then we combine the effect. However, at point 2, it becomes tension, right, because it's below the neutral axis. So then in this case, I will assume that tension becomes positive. And then, of course, the axial stress from the axial force become negative, and then become less tension-wise. Okay, so that's the end. Those two are the answers. So let's answer them. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Hope you enjoy learning with us, and I really appreciate you being here. So I will hope to see you in the next lesson. And well, thank you and goodbye. See you then.